All right, so for this section, we're going to use what is called the discriminant, which is in the quadratic formula is the expression underneath the radical in the quadratic formula. So if we go back 2 sections, this b squared minus 4ac, known as the discriminant, and what we can do very quickly is this will tell us how many solutions a graph has. Remember, a solution to a graph is how many points that it crosses the x-axis. So if it's like this, there's 2 points. If it's just this, it'd be 1 point, or if it's not even crossing it, that would be a no solution. So this tells us whether it has 2, 1, or no solutions to the problem when we're solving for that variable. All right, so how does that tell us? Well, if the discriminant is positive, so any positive number, then there are 2 solutions. Doesn't matter what, it could be a decimal, whole number, doesn't matter. If it's positive, there's going to be 2 solutions. It's going to cross the graph at 2 spots. If the discriminant is 0, if you do all this work and it comes out to 0, then there's just going to be 1 solution. It's going to touch right at the x-axis. And obviously, if the discriminant is negative, then there are no solutions. So again, this is a visual representative of what the graphs will look like based on the discriminant. So if it's positive, you see it crosses at 2 points. If it's 0, it crosses at just 1. And if it's negative, it doesn't cross at either. All right, so here's a sample question. Consider the graphs of functions below and the discriminant of each related equation. Write out the discriminant of each. So we just need to see which one, if we do use the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac will come out as positive or negative. So let's look at this first one first. So this has your a, b, and c. We need to identify that. So for this, we have a, b, c. So a equals 1, b equals negative 6, c equals 3, and then we can do our b squared minus 4ac. b squared would be negative 6 minus 4 times a, and then times c would be 3. And we go right into our decimals calculator. We can type that in, and remember, like we were talking about last week, we can just put the decimals, the formula in decimals, and just back it out if we need to. So I like to use this calculator a lot. So b squared minus 4ac. Go ahead and make this half the size. So then we type this in here. So we have negative 6, 1, and 3. And that gives us 24. So you can see that that is a positive number. We have 2 points where it crosses, so that matches up. All right, so this one, we can see that there's 1 solution, so this should come out to 0. So we identify a, b, and c. A is 1, b is negative 6, c is positive 9. So b squared minus 4ac. Again, I like to see this because then we can know what you're typing in correctly. So negative 6 for our b, 1 for our a, 9 for our c. So really those don't change. All I have to do is back this out and put the 9 in, and voila, we get the 0. So exciting, I know. Math. All right, then over here, again, we have a, b, and c. You can see that it's not crossing at x, so this should come out as a negative number. It doesn't matter what the negative number is, but if it's negative, we can't take the square root of a negative, which means there would be no solution. So a is 1, b is negative 6 again, and c is 12. So b squared minus 4ac, negative 6, 1, and 12. Over here, all I have to do is change to 12. That's the only thing that's changing in these, and we see it comes out to negative 12. All right, so that's a way that we could tell how many solutions they have. So again, just a couple more practice. Once you get started with this, super easy, right? We just identify A, B, and C for each one. All right, so we have 1, -2, 3, 3. I'm just going real quick here to write these down. Identifying A, B, and C should be pretty straightforward right now for you guys. So we have 5, -2, and 8. And then again, we have B squared minus 4AC. I'm just going to do this for all of them. B squared minus 4A. And again, I always like to put substitute numbers in parentheses, especially if it helps if they're negative, so that we don't have any mistakes with our inputs. And if you're using a calculator, the calculator literally does what you put into it. So if you do this, the calculator will read it correctly. All right, so let's go back to our formula here. I'm going to back these out now because they're all changing a little bit. So for this one, it says find the number of solutions for each by using the discriminant. So I put my B here, which would be -2. And then A would be 1, C would be 3. So we can type these in here. -2, 1, and 3. We get -8. So that would be no solutions. All right, so let's check out this one. B is -4, A is 3, C is -7. We back these out. So I have my -4, put my 3 here, and my -7 here, and I get 100. Just erase that. So if it's positive, that is telling us that there is 2 solutions. So I can go ahead and write 2 solutions because this is a positive number. 3 examples, well, maybe one of each, so I'm assuming this is going to be 0, but let's go ahead and fill this out. So I have B squared, which is -2, minus 4A, which is 5, and C, which is 8. Remember, these don't change. It's part of the formula. I have 5 and 8. Oh, that's a negative. Wah, wah. Thought it was going to be one of each. So this is no solutions, because it comes out to a negative number. This equals -156. Now, there's another way you can check them, and that's if we use our decimals graphing calculator. And you can obviously see where the graphs cross the x-axis. So if you are interested in that portion, you could type this in. So y equals x squared minus 2x plus 3. And you can see that this does not touch the x-axis at all. All right, if I change these out, let's say I say this is 3x minus 4x minus 7. Now you can see that it does in fact cross at 2 different spots. And again, this final one, if you wanted to double check, we can back these out. I can put the 5 here, -2x, and plus 8. And this is nowhere near that x-axis, meaning, of course, it's no solution.